Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning. If you're watching us live, thanks for that. Please remember you can always catch this show and our long-form podcast at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there for your consumption. They are free. Please check them out. Rolling through your traffic and weather this morning, there is a lane closure on I-12 eastbound, which is heading back into Livingston Parish. However, it has caused delays on I-12 westbound heading into Baton Rouge at the Millerville exit. It's also caused delays on Millerville. That has backed up into an accident that is right between Pete's Highway and Jubin Road. It's caused massive delays past Jubin Road on I-12 westbound. Please try to seek alternate routes because that accident, of course, has started pushing people onto the surface streets. Heavy delays on Jubin and 190. Some delays starting to stack up at 190, 4-H Club Road, and River Road. Some minor delays on River Road coming into it. However, some heavy delays on 4-H Club Road as people try to get around that accident on I-12. 64 heading into Central, relatively light. However, heavy delays on Greenville Springs. Heavy delays on 16 as folks head out of Watson. Also heavy delays on Burgess as folks try to get on 447. So it's just kind of a hectic day because of those accidents. Please keep that in mind. It's currently 46 degrees. It's going to warm up to 51. Not too much because it's going to remain cloudy. Looking at some afternoon showers today, putting it down to 36 degrees this evening. Now, I say afternoon showers, you know how it is. It gets dark at, 4:30. So technically evening showers, but it will get down to 36 overnight. Please remember, not necessarily a hard freeze, but there's definitely going to be, protect your pets, protect your plants, that sort of thing from the freezing rain. As I mentioned in the caption, there's a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as I can. Just sit down and try to enjoy, or listen, rather. Yesterday, we did have Miss Casey McMurray on from the Spotlight Theater Group. They are performing Little Women at Old South Jamboree starting tonight, tomorrow night, Friday, and Saturday has two shows, a matinee at 2:30 and then the regular show at 7. Every night is at 7, doors open at 6. They have hot chocolate, and coffee available to keep you warm. It's $15 at the door. Please check that out and support your local theater folks. Again, that's at Old South Jamboree. It is on Highway 190 in Walker, roughly across the street from the high school. An unrestrained Texas driver died in front of Levi Milton Elementary yesterday in a traffic accident. He was unrestrained, according to state police. It was a 2005, and it was not a Mazda. It was a Honda Accord that ran into, for whatever reason that they're still investigating, ran into a Silverado after crossing the center line. And as anybody who knows North Ford 47, not a whole lot of give there to cross that center line. So he was partially ejected from the vehicle on impact and was pronounced dead on the scene. The other driver, who has not been named, was okay and restrained and has been taken to a hospital for treatment. A toxicology sample was sent off to see if there was any drunk driving involved in the accident or any kind of drugs or anything like that. Also suggested that it could be a cell phone incident, but he was unrestrained. There was an overnight fire in Springfield that would have been between Tuesday and Wednesday night. It engulfed 2 buildings. There were no injuries. However, it did take most of the night to put the fires out. They had, again, engulfed 2 buildings. Took quite a fire. Took a long time to put that out. There is a winning Powerball ticket out there somewhere. It was purchased in Watson back on May 22nd. There are just a few days left to claim it. November 18th at midnight, it expires. It's a $50,000 ticket. Again, it was purchased at the Circle K in Watson in front of Duke's Restaurant across the street from Walmart. So please, if you know anybody that frequents that gas station and buys Powerball tickets, let them know they may have the winning ticket. Unfortunately, based on the comments on the story on Facebook, it's probably in the trash somewhere. It might be in a fireplace or something like that. It may be under a bird cage. So unfortunate, but time will tell. We'll see if somebody shows up and claims that. So getting into some more of the hard news, coming up this Saturday, there's what's called the Love LP Initiative. It's and the sub, I guess you can say, hashtag of that is Litter Free LP. It's coming up again, I said Saturday, it's an all-day deal trying to get out there and pick up trash because Livingston Parish has a litter problem. And that litter problem affects a big community push on drainage. Everybody, drainage. Well, trash is part of that. As we learned back in the beginning of the summer, when those really heavy rainstorms started to come around, we spoke to Mayor Gerard Landry at Denham Springs. One of the things that he told us was that a lot of the things that they were pulling out of storm drains and culverts and the like was trash and debris. He gave one example on Oak Street near the near the high school, where a box from down the street that had been dismantled flowed down to a storm drain, and got sucked onto it and blocked it up. It actually caused water to go into a nearby home. So once they went out there, the city did, and pulled it off the drain, the water disappeared. Trash does affect drainage here in Livingston Parish, and that is evident with two cases as well, because it eventually makes it to the river. There was a river cleanup at the end of the summer in August. It was put on by Miss Rachel Deaton from Watson, and they pulled out hundreds of bags of garbage plus vehicles, old boats, a refrigerator. Tracy Girlinghouse got a Muddy Mickey that they put on he and Jeff Ard put on the front of their boat. It was a very interesting, I guess you can say, it was a very interesting scenario to find all of that trash down there on the Amite River. The Amite's not small. There's still a lot more. They're looking to schedule another river cleanup, but that's not all. From there, as some of you may know, the river is either diverted down to the diversion canal or it cuts across the southern part of the parish. Well, where it cuts over in Maurepas, there are a lot of small subdivisions that are across from Highway 22. Those bridges end up like dams and block up a bunch of trash and debris, usually after heavy rainstorms washes the trash into the river. DPW from the parish has to go down with a backhoe, pick up all the debris, bring it out, and bring it to designated burn sites. So again, remember that trash exists here in Livingston Parish. Livingston does that would be the parish does the best they can through DPW, especially liaising with the sheriff for community service people and using inmates trying to pick up the trash. It's just almost impossible to keep up with it. We are going to do a long form podcast today, which we will push out probably tomorrow to let people know all the little dirty details about litter and how you can participate in the litter-free cleanup on Saturday. And also remember, Saturday is election day. We will talk about that in just a second. The city of Denham Springs is having a little trouble with their bid process lately. Not necessarily their fault, just having trouble finding bids. They went out for a vacuum truck and a street sweeper earlier. That a lot of that is FEMA reimbursable as they try to reconstitute their fleet of city vehicles after the flood. Unfortunately, could not get more than one bid for either vehicle the first time. Had to go back through the bidding process. Now got two, which is enough based on their ordinances to go ahead and choose one. The winning bidder for one, which would have been the street sweeper, did not win for the vacuum truck. That was a new bidder. So they were able to replace that. However, the bidding process has reared its ugly head for a water well. They were unable to find any bids for a water well repair that's coming after the flood. They have to raise the electronic equipment that operates the well as well as reseal it. Couldn't find a bid for that. Going to have to go back out and try to find someone else. Home sales continue to just burn up Livingston Parish. I mean, we're talking about 184 homes sold in October. Definitely at least 45 days removed from the summer moving months and the hot months. Now, it is reflected in the average price. The average sales price for a home in October was down from the summer months about $10,000. However, still the same amount of homes being sold here. Again, that's 184 homes. Going to be a record year for home sales. It was a major summer. You're now looking at well over 2,000 homes sold between April and October. Just a lot of new people coming to Livingston Parish, which will affect the census. Of course, that'll be coming back up in the spring. Please remember that. Also, we talked about elections. Early voting, of course, set a record. Huge turnout, 16% of registered voters in Livingston Parish, of which there are about 80,000 total, turned out for early voting, got to the polls, Now you're looking at the regular election, which is, again, like the litter pickup, Saturday, November 16th, all day. However, when the polls close at 8, if you aren't in line, you don't get to vote. So please get out and vote. There are quite a few runoff elections to be voted on. We'll talk a little bit more. We're going to do a pod on that as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But just real briefly, the governor's race is Republican Eddie Rispone versus Democrat John Bell Edwards. Then you have House Seat 71, which is Republican Buddy Mincy versus Democrat Lori Calais. Then you have 21st Judicial District Court Judge Division D, which is both Republicans, Ernie Drake and Brian Abels are running for that seat. And then you're looking at Parish Council District 6, 2 Republicans. God, I'm rolling through this way too quick this morning. Derek Babcock and Gerald McMorris. Just a lot to get through. We're not even halfway done, folks. Just buckle up. And then we are into a Bessie runoff, which is Republican Greg Spears of Springfield and Republican Ronnie Morris of Baton Rouge. So please keep an eye on that. There are also 3 other small votes going on, except 2 are not necessarily so small. Kind of a paradigm shift here, if they pass, of course. Town of Livingston, Town of Albany will both be voting on whether or not they can sell alcohol within the city limits. That is coming up this Saturday for the final vote. It's going to be real interesting to see if those two places pass those deals. So please keep an eye on that. Also, Fire Protection District 10 has a $32 service fee on renewal. This will be its 3rd renewal. So please keep an eye on that as well. Excuse me. Jalen Cook, hometown hero from Walker, signed with LSU yesterday. Cook averaged 29.5 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, 3.9 steals, and finished his career at Walker with 2,293 points. Coach from LSU, Will Wade, said that he likes what Jalen brings to the court. Not just from his work ethic and the intangibles, but just from a tangible skill set. Jalen Cook fits what LSU's trying to do. Of course, LSU had a little bit of controversy last year, but has steadily improved under Wade, and it looks like Jalen is going to be able to jump in on that. Also yesterday, excuse me, 3 ladies from Holden signed letters of intent to play in college. Of course, Holden experiencing another little dynasty here in softball. I didn't mention they're all softball players. Miss Fogg, Ashley Fogg, is playing at Northwest Florida State. Olivia Lackey, who is the ace pitcher, signed with South Alabama. And Miss Hutchinson signed with Louisiana Tech. So congratulations to you ladies for signing and participating in the next level. I know you've brought a lot of pride and a lot of just a lot of victories to Holden. So congratulations on your further success. We wish you the best of luck, especially in this year's season. Wood steps down as the Albany coach. He will be replaced by Pittman. There's a lot going on there. I recommend that you read the story that Mr. Rob DeArmond wrote at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. That kind of came at the end of the day. A lot of celebration yesterday, but a little bit of turmoil for Albany baseball. Please check that out. The Sheriff's Christmas Crusade is about to kick off. It'll start next week, December 2nd, and run through December 20th. You can catch deputies on Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. The full schedule is published on our website. It is at Walmart or Bass Pro. All the Walmarts, Walker, Watson, and Denham, will have sheriff's deputies as well as Bass Pro. Check them out. Again, Fridays, Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays, usually in the afternoon. Sometimes they're there all day. Since the sheriff was elected, this has been kind of a deal for him, trying to collect toys for underprivileged kids to donate every year so that everybody has a little bit of taste of Christmas. Christmas is a difficult time for a lot of people in Livingston Parish. We did discuss many months ago that a severe amount of people, roughly 30%, are what's called asset limited income constrained. So that means that they are basically working poor. It's nearly 30% of the population of Livingston Parish. So a lot of people, in a lot of instances, do not get to experience Christmas like you or I do or anybody else. They have maybe, I guess what you can say is less. So please consider donating to the Christmas Crusade. A few toys go a long way for some of these kids. Well, I did it. I made it through by 15 minutes. Let's run back around with your traffic. If you feel like you missed anything, please remember you can always rewatch these shows. We'll talk about that in a second. There is an accident on I-12 westbound, heading in between Jubin and Pete's Highway. A lot of folks getting off of there. That is causing delays on 190, especially at Jubin Road, but also at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190 intersection on the western side of Denham Springs. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central. Please keep an eye on that. There is delays in Denham as folks drop their kids off. There's also delays at Burgess and 447 as folks get out of the way of Walker High School. Minor delays at Arnold Road and 447. It's currently 46 degrees, only going to get up to 51 as your high today, low of 36 because of some, they say afternoon showers, but it's more like evening because it gets dark at 4:30. So looking at some evening showers, so please prepare for that. Again, if you ever miss one of these shows, you can check them out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there. A reminder that yesterday we spoke to Miss Casey McMurray. There is a Spotlight Theater play going on tonight, tomorrow night, and Friday night, as well as a Saturday matinee. It's at 6 p.m. or doors open, 7 p.m. The show starts, $15 at the door. They've got hot chocolate and coffee for you. Please check that out. And, of course, if you want to learn about that show, you can watch yesterday's show at that URL I gave you. The news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. You can check us out there. We are also online, as mentioned. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. Check us out there. This feature was about all that litter stuff that I discussed earlier. As mentioned, we will be talking about that on a podcast. You can check out our podcast on any kind of podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. We push it out via Anchor FM. If you're not interested in any other podcasts, you just want to listen to us, which that's your choice. You can check us out. These morning shows are posted with those podcasts at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. Once again, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning on the Livingston Parish Morning Show. Hope you stay warm. Please try to stay dry this afternoon because we don't need anybody getting sick. And we will catch you tomorrow morning with plenty to talk about, I'm sure, a lot of it being election coverage. And we're going to remind you about litter. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.